It's time to automate your warehouse. You know you need an automated storage and retrieval system, or an ASRS, but you also know these systems can cost millions of dollars. So how do you keep the cost under control? Well, don't supersize it. Sure, your ASRS has to be big enough to meet future demand, so you can't underestimate it. But if you overestimate it and supersize your system, you'll be wasting precious capital. So, how do you get the size just right? At E2M and Polytron, we take a more scientific approach to ASRS planning. By creating more accurate demand estimates, we can drastically reduce the cost of these installations, getting the size just right. We just did it for a leading consumer products manufacturer and cut their estimated costs in half. This manufacturer had already been planning a new ASRS. Based on their own demand estimates, they thought they would need to budget about $3 million. But they wanted a second opinion from us. Using a more sophisticated, more scientific demand estimation method, we were able to cut their estimated costs in half, from $3 million down to 1.5. Nearly 2/3 of engineers polled normally use one of these three time-based methods to calculate ASRS requirements. The most common method used involves estimating average inventory levels 3 years out. While it may seem low cost, this method is very risky because it assumes you can quickly expand if volumes increase. In fact, it can end up costing millions in lost sales revenue in the future. Method number 2 is more conservative, as it takes volume spikes into account. But estimating peak inventory levels 3 years from now is still short-sighted and doesn't account for the long-term investment that's about to be made. The third method? This uses peak inventory levels 10 years out. It's pretty widely accepted for conventional warehouse planning, but it doesn't provide the accuracy needed for an ASRS, where excess capacity is extremely costly. So how did we do it? Well, we start with an established model formula. Known as the economic order quantity in textbooks, it's by far the most accurate and most effective way to calculate production quantities and inventory levels. It is the core of our methodology at E2M and Polytron. We then estimate safety stock inventory requirements and predicted production quantities 10 years out. By establishing these minimums, we know demand will be met without creating wasted capacity. And by introducing your business's required service levels into the equation, we can quickly zero in on the right size. We began by collecting the client's data. We then ran the analysis and determined the safety stock levels 10 years out. We were also careful to account for changes in demand. For example, in this case, we knew that consumers purchase more of our client's product in the summertime, so we factored seasonality into our numbers. And in this case, our consumer products client has desired service levels of 99.99%, with a goal of delivering 100% customer satisfaction. We had virtually no room for error in our estimates. Within a matter of days, we delivered a clear, easy-to-understand report along with our recommendations. The client's ASRS investment is now sized to accurate safety stock levels, not just inventory peaks. Finally, we can use computer models to test and validate your design. This is one of our unique strengths at E2M Polytron. We set up a computer model of your warehouse or ASRS. Then we can use time-based dynamics to help you test and validate your design using different scenarios. By determining the optimal number of cranes and amount of rack space required, we halved the estimated costs of the ASRS, effectively saving our client $1.5 million. What about your next warehouse or ASRS system? Is it sized correctly? The best way to right size it is to let us help you. At E2M Polytron, we've been doing this for decades. We're very efficient, both in cost and in time. And most importantly, Our recommendations are 100% unbiased because we don't manufacture or sell ASRS equipment. All we care about is that you get the right sized system at the right price. If you're looking for an unbiased, third-party opinion that could save you millions, get in touch with us. We'd be more than happy to help you plan your next ASRS installation.